Good evening, and welcome to Burncoat Theatre's production of Arsenic and Old Lace. Thank you for your continued support of the arts at Burncoat. Enjoy the show.
Yes, indeed. Sister Martha and I have been talking all week about your sermon last Sunday. It's really wonderful, Dr. Harper. In only 2 short years, you've taken on the spirit of Brooklyn.
That's quite gratifying, Miss Brewster.
You see, living here next to the church all our lives, we've seen so many ministers come and go. The spirit of Brooklyn, we always say, is friendliness, and your sermons are not so much sermons as much as friendly talks.
Personally, I always enjoyed my talks with Cardinal Gibbons. Oh, have I met him yet?
Oh, not yet, dear. Are the biscuits good?
Buddy! Just buddy.
Won't you have another biscuit, Dr. Harper?
No, thank you, Miss Brewster. I always have too many real biscuits, and then I'm too full for dinner.
Oh, but you haven't tried any of the queens. We always put a little apple in with it to take the tartness out.
No, thank you.
Oh, we'll send you over a jar.
No, keep it here so I'll be sure of having a wonderful jam with it.
Oh, I do hope they don't make us use that imitation flour again. I mean, with this war trouble, it may not seem very charitable of me, but I've almost come to the conclusion that this Mr. Hitler isn't a Christian.
If only Europe were on another planet.
Europe, sir.
Yes, Teddy.
Put your gun the other way.
Gun?
Teddy.
To us. There's your danger. There's your enemy. Japan.
Why, yes, of course.
Teddy.
No, Aunt Abby. No so much talk about Europe and more about the canal.
Well, let's not talk about war, dear. Won't you have another cup of tea?
No, thank you, Aunt Abby.
Dr. Harper?
No, thank you, Miss Abby. But your house does seem far removed from those surroundings.
Oh, it is peaceful here, isn't it?
Yes, peaceful. The nice virtues that went out with candlelight, low taxes, and good manners.
Oh, it's one of the oldest houses in Brooklyn. It's just as it was when Grandfather Brewster built and furnished it, except for the electricity, and we tried to use it as little as possible. It was Mortimer who persuaded us to put it in.
It does seem that your nephew Mortimer only seems to live by electric lights.
Oh, the poor boy has to work so late. I understand he's taking Elaine with him to the theater again tonight. Oh, Teddy dear, your brother Mortimer will be home a little later.
Delighted!
We're so glad it's Elaine Mortimer takes to the theater with him.
Well, you know, it's a new experience for me, waiting up until 3 o'clock in the morning for my daughter to be returned.
Oh, Dr. Harper, I hope you don't disapprove of Mortimer.
Well,
Oh, we'd feel so guilty, Sister Martha and I mean, since it was here in our home that your daughter first met Mortimer.
well, I will start by saying I do find Mortimer to be quite a worthy gentleman. But I must also admit I have seen the growing intimacy between him and my daughter for some time now, Miss Abby.
Oh, you mean his stomach, Dr. Harper?
His stomach?
Oh, his dyspepsia. He's fought it, but it's so poor boy.
No, Miss Abby, I'll be frank with you. It's your nephew's connection to the theater.
Oh, the theater. Oh, no, dear. Why, Mortimer writes for a New York newspaper.
I know, Miss Abby, I know, and I don't doubt, but some do grow an interest in it.
Oh, why not Mortimer? You need have no fear of that. Why, Mortimer hates the theater.
Really?
Oh, yes, he writes awful things about the theater, but you can't blame him. The poor boy, he was so happy writing about real estate, which he really knew something about, and then they just made him take this terrible night position.
My.
Oh, but as he says, the theater can't last much longer, and in the meantime, it is living. Yes, I think we give the theater another year or two, perhaps. Oh, well, now who do you suppose that is? Oh, no, thank you, Teddy. I'll go. Oh, come in, Miss Brophy.
Hello, Miss Brewster.
How are you, Mr. Klein?
Very well, Miss Brewster.
What news have you brought me?
Colonel, we have nothing to report.
Splendid! At ease, gentlemen.
Oh, you know Dr. Harper?
Oh, hello there, Dr. Harper.
We've come for the toys for the Christmas fund.
Oh, yes.
You know, that's a fine work you men do, fixing up discarded toys to give poor children a happier Christmas.
It gives us something to do when you have to sit around the station all day. You get tired playing cards, and then you start cleaning your gun. And then the first thing you realize is that you shot yourself in the foot.
Oh, Teddy dear, go upstairs and get that big box from your Aunt Martha's room. How's Mrs. Brophy today? Mrs. Brophy has been quite ill, Dr. Harper.
Pneumonia.
Shut!
Oh, she's better now. A little weak still.
Oh, let me get you some beef broth to take to her.
Oh, don't bother, Miss Abby. You've done so much for her already.
Oh, we made it this morning. Sister Martha is out now, taking some to poor Mr. Vinitsky. I won't be a minute. Sit down and be comfortable, all of you.
She shouldn't go to all that trouble.
Listen, try to stop her or her sister from doing anything nice, and for nothing! They don't even care how you vote.
You know, when I got my call to Brooklyn, my wife was ill. And when she died, and many months before, if I know what pure kindness and gratitude is, it's because I've known the Brewster sisters.
Colonel, you promised not to do that.
But I'm to call a cabinet meeting to organize the release of those supplies.
He used to do that in the middle of the night. The neighbors raise Cain with us. They're a little afraid of him anyway.
Oh, he's quite harmless.
Suppose he does think he's Teddy Roosevelt? There's a lot worse people he think he could be.
Damn shame. A nice family like this, catching a cuckoo.
Well, I heard that their father, the old girl's brother, was a genius, wasn't he? And their father, Teddy's grandfather, I heard he was a little crazy too.
Yeah, he was crazy like a fox. He made $1 million.
Really, here in Brooklyn?
Yeah, patent medicine. He was a kind of a quack of some sort. Old Sergeant Edwards remembers him. He used the house here as a sort of clinic. Tried him out on people.
I hear he used to make mistakes occasionally too.
The department never bothered him much because he was pretty useful on autopsies sometimes, especially poison cases.
Well, whatever he did, he left his daughters fixed for life. Thank God for that.
Not that they ever spend any of it on themselves.
Oh, I'm well acquainted with your charities.
You don't know a tenth of it! When I was with the Missing Persons Bureau, we were trying to find someone that we never really did find. Did you know that a renting agency has its house down on its list for furnished rooms? They don't even rent rooms! But you can bet that anybody who comes here looking for a room leaves with a full stomach and a few dollars in their kick.
It's just their way of digging up people to do some good too.
Oh, well now, isn't this nice?
Good afternoon, Miss Brewster.
How do you do, Mr. Brophy? Dr. Harper, Mr. Klein.
How do you do? We dropped in to get the Christmas toys.
Oh, yes, Teddy's Army and Navy. They wear out, they're all packed.
Oh, the colonel's upstairs after them. It seems the cabinet has to okay it.
Yes, of course. I hope Mrs. Brophy is better.
Oh, she's doing fine, ma'am. Your sister's getting some soup for me to take to her.
Oh, yes, we made it this morning. I just took some to a poor man who broke ever so many bones.
Oh, you're back, Martha. How's Mr. Vinitsky?
Well, dear, it's pretty serious, I'm afraid. The doctor was there. They're going to amputate in the morning.
Oh, can we be present?
No, I asked him, but he says it's against the rules of the hospital.
Well, you wouldn't be of much service, and you must spare yourself something.
Oh, here's some broth, Mr. Brophy. Be sure it's good and hot.
Yes, ma'am.
This should do good. This should do good. That O'Malley boy is sure nuts about soldiers.
That's General Miles. I've retired him. What's this? The Oregon?
Teddy, dear, put it back.
No! The Oregon goes to Australia!
Now, Teddy.
No! I've given my word to Fighting Bob Evans.
But Teddy.
What's the difference? What kid gets it? Bobby Evans, Izzy Cohen. We'll run along, ma'am, and thank you very much.
Oh, not at all. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Well, I better be running along myself.
Oh, before you go, Dr. Harper.
Charge! Charge the blockhouse!
The blockhouse?
The stairs are always San Juan Hill.
Have you ever tried convincing him that he wasn't Teddy Roosevelt?
Oh, no.
He's so happy being Teddy Roosevelt.
Once a long time ago, remember Martha, we thought if he would be George Washington, it might be a change for him.
Oh, but he stayed under his bed for days. It just wouldn't be anybody.
And we'd so much rather he be Mr. Roosevelt than nobody at all.
Well, if he's happy, and what's more important, you're happy, you'll see that he gets these.
What are they?
Oh, Dr. Harper has made all arrangements for Teddy to go to Happydale Sanitarium after we pass on.
But why should Teddy sign any papers now?
I mean, if the Lord should take you suddenly. I mean, if we couldn't convince Teddy to commit to this, it would lead to a long and annoying legal procedure. Mr. Witherspoon understands that they're to be filed away until they're ready.
Mr. Witherspoon? Who's he?
He's the superintendent of Happydale.
Dr. Harper has arranged for him to come in tomorrow or the next day to meet Teddy.
Well, I better be running along or Elaine will be over here looking for me.
Oh, give our love to Elaine. Dr. Harper, please don't think harshly of Mortimer because he's a dramatic critic. Somebody has to do those things.
Did you just have tea? Isn't it rather late?
Oh, yes, dear, and dinner's going to be late, too.
So, why?
Oh, Teddy, good news for you. You're going to Panama to dig another log for the canal.
Delighted! That's bully! Just bully! I'll go prepare my equipment at once. Charge!
Abby! While I was out?
Yes, dear. I didn't know when you'd be back, and I couldn't wait, and Dr. Harper was coming.
Oh, but all by yourself.
Oh, I got along fine.
Well, I'll run right downstairs and see.
Oh, no, there wasn't enough time, and I was all alone. Oh,
Well,
Martha, just look in the window seat. Oh, it's Elaine. Come in, dear.
Good afternoon, Miss Abby. Good afternoon, Miss Martha. I thought Father was here.
oh, he just this minute left. Didn't you meet him?
No, I took a shortcut through the cemetery. Mortimer hasn't come yet.
Oh, no, dear.
Oh, he asked me to meet him here. Do you mind if I wait?
Not at all.
Oh, why don't you sit down, dear?
Oh, but we really must speak to Mortimer about doing this to you.
Doing what?
Well, he was brought up to know better. When a gentleman is taking a young lady out, he should call for her at her house.
Oh, there's something about calling for a girl at a parsonage that discourages any man who doesn't embroider.
Oh, he's done this too often. We're going to speak to him.
Oh, please don't. After young men whose idea of a nightlife was to take me to a prayer meeting, it's wonderful to get to go to the theater almost every night of my life.
Oh, it's comforting for us, too, because if Mortimer has to see some of those plays he has to see, at least he's sitting next to a minister's daughter.
Oh, my goodness, Elaine, what must you think of us not having tea cleared away by this time?
Now, don't you bother with anything in the kitchen until Mortimer comes, and then I'll help you. Mortimer should be here any minute now.
Yes, Father must have been surprised not to find me at home. I better run along and say my goodnight to him.
Oh, it's a shame you missed him, dear.
If Mortimer comes, you tell him I'll be right back. Hello, Mort.
Hello, Elaine. Hello, Aunt Martha. Oh.
Abby, Mortimer's here.
Are you going somewhere?
I was just going over to tell Father please not to wait up for me tonight.
Still being done? Even in Brooklyn?
Oh, hello, Mortimer.
Hello, Aunt Abby.
How are you, dear?
I'm good. You haven't changed much since yesterday, right?
Oh, my goodness, it was yesterday, wasn't it? Why, we're seeing a great deal of you lately. Well, sit down, sit down.
Oh, Abby, hasn't me something to do in the kitchen?
What, dear?
You know, the tea things.
Oh, yes, the tea things. Well, you two just make yourselves at home. Just
Make yourselves at home.
Well, can't you take a hint?
No, you're very obvious. A lack of inventiveness, I should say.
Yes, that's exactly what you'd
You
say.
dropped something. Where do you want to go for dinner?
I don't care. I'm not very hungry.
Well, I just had breakfast. Suppose we wait until after the show?
But that'll make it pretty late, won't it?
Not with a little stinger we're seeing tonight. From what I've heard, we'll be at Plaken's by 10 o'clock.
You ought to be fair to these plays.
These plays fair to me.
I've never seen you walk out on a musical.
Oh, that musical isn't opening tonight.
No.
Oh, darling, you have to learn the rules. With a musical, there are always 4 postponements and 3 changes of titles. They liked it in New Haven, but it needs a lot of work.
Oh, I was hoping it was a
You
musical.
have such a light mind.
Not a bit. Musicals somehow have a humanizing effect on you. After a serious play, we join the proletarian in the subway and I listen to a lecture on the drama. After a musical, you take me home in a taxi. And you make a few passes.
Hey, that's a very inaccurate piece of reporting there.
Oh, I will admit that after the Berman play, you told me I had authentic beauty. which is a hell of a thing to say to a girl. It wasn't until after our first musical you told me I had nice legs. And I have, too.
For a minister's daughter, you sure do know a lot about life. Where'd you learn it?
In the choir loft.
The close connection between eroticism and religion. I'll explain that to you sometime later.
Religion never gets as high as the choir loft. Which reminds me, I better run along and tell Father please not to wait up for me tonight.
I've never been able to rationalize it.
What?
My falling in love with a girl from Brooklyn.
Falling in love? You're not stooping to the articulate, are you?
No, the only way I can regain my self-respect is if I keep you in New York.
Did you say keep?
Oh, no. I've come to the conclusion you're holding out for the legality.
I can afford to be a good girl for quite a few years yet.
And I can't wait that long. Where can we get married in a hurry? Say tonight?
I'm afraid Father will insist on officiating.
My God, I bet your father can even make a marriage service sound pedestrian.
Are you, by chance, writing a review of it?
No, that's an occupational disease. I need to give that play a good notice.
Now, darling, don't pretend you love me that much.
Tell your father not to wait up tonight.
I think tonight I better tell him to wait up.
I'll call Winshaw to publish the band.
Nevertheless.
All right, everything formal and legal, no later than the next month.
Darling, I'll talk it over with Father and set the date.
Oh, no, we'll have to see what's in rehearsal. There are a lot of opening nights in October. That's Teddy.
Hello, Mortimer.
Hello, Mr. President. How are ya?
Bully, just bully. What news have you brought me?
Just this, Mr. President. The country is squarely behind ya.
I know. Isn't it wonderful? Well, goodbye. Goodbye.
Where are you off to, Teddy?
Panama!
Panama, the cellar. He digs locks with candles down there.
You're so sweet with him, and he's very fond of you.
Well, Teddy was always my favorite brother.
Favorite? Were there more of you?
Yeah, there's another one. Jonathan.
I've never heard of him. Your aunts have never mentioned him.
No, we don't like to talk about Jonathan. Jonathan left Brooklyn early by request. He was the kind of boy who liked to cut worms in two using his tongue.
What became of him?
I don't know. He wanted to become a surgeon like grandfather, but he wouldn't go to medical school, and his work got him to a lot of trouble.
Oh, aren't you two going to be late to the theater?
We're skipping dinner. We won't have to leave for about half an hour.
Oh, well then I'll leave you two alone together again.
Don't bother, darling. I'm going over to speak with Father. Before I go with you, he likes to pray over me a little. I'll be right back. I'll cut through the cemetery.
If you have enough time, I can lead you beside distilled waters.
Why, Mortimer, that's the first time I've ever heard you quote the Bible. We knew Elaine would be a good influence for you.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm marrying her.
What? Oh, darling, Martha, come right in here. I've got the most wonderful news for you. Mortimer and Elaine are going to be married.
Married? Oh, Mortimer.
Well, we always hoped it would happen just like this.
Oh, Will Elaine must be the happiest girl in the world.
Happy? Just look at her leaping over those gravestones. Say, what's that?
What's what, dear?
That statue there, that's a Heredina Carnina.
Oh, no, dear. That's Emily Stout ascending to heaven.
No, on Mrs. Stout's left ear, that's a red-crested swallow. I've only seen one of those ever before in my life.
Oh, why, Mortimer, how can you be thinking about a bird now? What with Elaine and the engagement and everything?
It's a vanishing species. Thoreau was very fond of them. By the way, I left a large envelope around here somewhere. It was one of my chapters in my book on Thoreau. Have you seen it?
Well, if you've left it here, it must be here somewhere.
When are you going to be married? What are your plans? There must be something more you can tell us about Elaine.
Elaine. Elaine thought it was brilliant.
What was, dear?
My chapter on Thoreau.
Well, when Elaine comes back, I think we ought to have a little celebration. We must toast to your happiness. Oh, Martha, isn't there some of that Lady Baltimore cake left?
Oh, yes.
And I'll open a bottle of wine.
Oh, and to think, it happened in this room.
Oh, Mortimer, with your fiancé sitting beside you tonight, I do hope the play can be something you enjoy for once. It may be something romantic. Oh, what's the name of it?
Murder will out.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. The first thing you see when the curtain goes up is a dead body. Aunt Abby!
Yes, dear.
You were making plans for Teddy to go to that sanitarium, happy deal?
Oh, yes, dear. It's all arranged. Dr. Harper dropped by today to drop off the papers for Teddy to sign. Oh, here they are.
Teddy's got to sign them right away.
Oh, well, if that's what Dr. Harper thinks, then there won't be any legal difficulty.
No, he's got to sign them tonight. Tonight, he's down there, right? Get him up here.
There's no such hurry as that.
No, when Teddy starts working in the cellar, you can't get his mind on anything else.
No, right away, I tell you, right away!
Oh, no, dear. That's not until after we're gone.
No, he's got to go to Happy Deal tonight.
Why, Mortimer, why have you suddenly said that? Like, Mortimer, Teddy is our nephew. You will never be separated from him.
You're gonna find out sometime. It might as well be now. Teddy's killed a man!
Nonsense, dear.
There's a body in the window seat!
Yes, dear, we know.
You know!
Of course, dear. But it has nothing to do with Teddy.
Oh, now, Mortimer, you know all about it, so just forget about it.
Forget!
Oh, we never dreamed you'd peep.
Who is he?
Oh, his name is Hoskins. Adam Hoskins. That's really all I know about him, except that he's a Methodist.
That's all you know about him? What's he doing here? What happened to him?
He died.
Aunt Martha meant us just go into window seats and die.
No, he died first.
Well, now.
Oh, don't be so inquisitive, Mortimer. The gentleman died because he drank some wine with poison in it.
How did the poison get in the wine?
Well, he put it in wine because it's less useful. When it's in tea, it has a distinct odor.
You put it in the wine?
Yes, and I put Mr. Hoskins in the window seat because Dr. Harper was coming.
So you knew what you'd done, and you didn't want Dr. Harper to see the body?
Oh, well, not at tea. That wouldn't have been very nice. Now, Mortimer, you know all about it, so just forget about it. I do think Martha and I have the right to our own little secrets.
And don't you tell Elaine. Oh, Abby, while I was out, I dropped in on Mrs. Schultz. She's much better, but she would like us to take Junior to the movies again.
Well, we must do that tomorrow or the next day.
Yes, but this time we'll go where we want to go. Junior's not going to drag me to another one of those scary pictures.
Hello? City desk? Yes, Al, Mort. Yeah, when I left, I told you where I was going, remember? Oh, that's right. What did I say? Well, it must take about, half an hour to get to Brooklyn. What time have you got? That's right. Okay, bye. Oh, Tabby, I'm about to get in here! What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do?
What are we going to do about what, dear?
There's a body in the window seat!
Oh, yes, Mr. Hoskins.
Oh, my God. Good heavens, I can't report you to the police, but what am I gonna do?
Well, for one thing, dear, stop being so excited.
And for pity's sake, stop worrying. We told you to forget about it.
Oh, Tabby, how can I make you realize that something has to be done?
Now, Mortimer, you behave yourself. You're too old to be flying off the handle like
But Mr. Hodgkins!
Hoskins, dear.
Well, whatever his name is, we can't just leave him there.
Oh, we don't intend to, dear.
Oh, no, Teddy's down in the cellar now, digging the lock.
You mean you're gonna bury Mr. Hodgkins in the cellar?
Oh, yes, dear. That's what we did with the others.
Others?
The other gentlemen.
When you say others, do you mean more than one others?
Oh, yes, dear. Let me see. This is 11.
Oh, my God.
Oh, no, dear, this makes 12.
Well, I think you're wrong, Abby. This is only 11.
No, because it occurred to me when Mr. Hoskins first came, it would just make an even dozen.
Oh, well, you really can't count the first one.
Oh, well, I was counting the first one, so that makes 12.
Ow! Oh, ow! It's good to hear your voice.
So they're all down in the cellar.
Yes, I called you earlier because I was being a little parandello. You wouldn't know! Al, get a hold of George. Right, hurry for me. I can't make it tonight. No, Al, it's all gonna make sense when I explain it to you tomorrow. Just get a hold of George. This is my department, and I'm running it. You get a hold of George. All right, so where were we? 12!
Yes, Abby thinks we ought to count the first one, so that makes 12.
So who was the first one?
Oh, Mr. Meachley, he was a Baptist.
Of
for a room.
It was right after you moved to New York.
And it didn't seem right for such a lovely room to go to waste when so many other people needed it.
Oh, he was such a lonely old man.
Oh my God.
All his kith and kin were dead, which just left him so forlorn and unhappy.
We felt so sorry for him.
And when his heart attack came and he died in that chair, looking so peaceful, remember, Martha, we decided then and there that if we could help other lonely old men to that same peace, we would.
He died right in this chair? That's so awful for you.
Oh, no, dear. Why, it was rather like old times. Your grandfather always used to have a cadaver or two around the house. You see, Teddy was digging in Panama, and he thought Mr. Midgley was a yellow fever victim.
That meant he had to be buried immediately.
So we all took him down to Panama and put him in the lock. Now that's why we told you not to worry about it, dear, because we know exactly what's to be done.
That was how all of this started. I mean, just walking in here, dropping dead.
Oh, of course, we realized we couldn't depend on that happening again. Oh.
You remember those jars of poison up on the shelves in Grandfather's laboratory all these years?
Oh, you know your Aunt Martha's knack for mixing things. You've eaten enough of her piccalilli.
Well, dear, for a gallon of elderberry wine, I take 1 teaspoonful of arsenic, then add a half teaspoonful of strychnine, and just a pinch of cyanide.
That should have a kick.
Oh, yes, indeed. One of our gentlemen even found time to say, how delicious.
Then I better get things started in the kitchen.
Oh, Mortimer, we wish you could stay for dinner.
Oh, I'm trying out a new recipe.
I couldn't eat a thing.
Oh, I'll help you in a minute, dear.
Oh, well, I'm so relieved. Oh, Mortimer, you have to wait for Elaine, don't you? Oh, how happy you must be. Well, I'll leave you alone with your thoughts.
12 bodies in the cellar. I mean, drugs. Oh, wait, quiet. No. Oh, it's just you.
Don't be cross, darling. Father could see I was excited, so I told him about us, which made it hard for me to get away. But listen, darling, he's not gonna wait up for me tonight.
Elaine, you got to go home. I'll call you up tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
You know I always call you up every day or two.
But we're going to the theater tonight.
No, we're not.
Well, why not?
Because something has come up.
What, Mortimer, darling? You've lost your job.
What? No, I didn't lose my job. I'm just not covering that play tonight. Now, Elaine, please, will you run along home?
But I've got to know what's happened. Certainly you can tell me.
No, dear, you cannot. No.
But if we're going to be married...
Married?
Have you forgotten that not 15 minutes ago you proposed to me?
I did? As far as I know, that's still on, right? Now, Elaine, you run along home now.
Listen, you can't propose to me 1 minute and throw me out the house the next.
I'm not throwing you out of the house. Will you just get the hell out of here?
No, I will not get out of here. Not until I've had some kind of explanation.
Elaine. Hold this, please. Hello? Al! I can hold on for just a minute. I can. Yes, I can. I'll just wait up. Look, Elaine. You're a very sweet girl, and I love you so much. But something's on my mind, and I need you to go home and wait until I call you up.
Don't try to be masterful.
When I have problems to face when we're married, I hope you're less tedious and uninspired.
And when we're married, if we're married, I hope to find you adequate.
Elaine! Oh! Al? Hello? Al? Hello?
That's the doorbell, dear, not the telephone.
Oh.
Oh, how do you do? Come in.
I understand you have a room to rent.
I'm Miss Brewster, and this is my sister, another Miss Brewster.
My name is Gibbs.
Oh, I'm sorry. We were just setting the table for dinner. Won't you sit down?
Hello? Al? Sitting desk! Wrong number, God.
May I see the room?
Oh, why don't you sit down a minute and let's get acquainted?
That won't do me much good if I don't like the room.
Oh, well, is Brooklyn your home?
Haven't got a home. Live in a hotel. Don't like it.
Hello? City desk!
Are your families Brooklyn people?
Haven't got a family.
Oh, all alone in the world.
Yep.
Well, Martha, you've come just to the right house. Do sit down.
Hello? Al Mort, we got cut off. I can't make it tonight. That's all there is to it.
What church do you go to? There's an Episcopal church practically next door.
I'm Presbyterian. Used to be.
What? What's George doing in Bermuda? We'll say if you don't let me go to Bermuda. This is my department. I'm running it. Just, we need to get somebody. Get a hold of somebody. I'll look around the office. There's got to be somebody around.
Is there always this much noise?
Oh, he doesn't live with us.
There's got to be somebody around the place. Al, look. How about the office boy? You know the bright one? The one we don't like? Al, you look around the office. I'll hold on.
I'd really like to see the room.
Oh, it's just upstairs. Won't you try a glass of our wine before we start up?
Never touch it.
We make it ourselves. It's elderberry wine.
Elderberry wine. I've had this since I was a boy. Thank you.
There's got to be some printers around. Al, look! Oh, Joe, the guy who sets my printers, he's ought to know what I write about. He's the third machine to the left. I think he might be the next Burns Mantle.
Do you have your own elderberry bushes?
No, but the cemetery is full of them.
Oh, I'm not drinking, but I'm gonna start now.
Do you serve meals?
Oh, we might first to see whether you like our wine.
Mortimer,
Oh, Mortimer, not that.
Ah! Get out! Get out! Get out! Get out! Get out! Get out the door! Leave! Leave!
Now you've spoiled everything.
You can't do things like that! I don't know how else to explain this to you. It's not only against the law, it's wrong! It's a bad thing to do! He wouldn't understand. People wouldn't understand.
Abby, we shouldn't have told Mortimer.
What I mean is, this has developed into a very, bad habit.
Oh, Mortimer, we don't try to stop you from doing the things you'd like to do. I don't see why you should interfere with us.
No! Hold on. Hello! No! All right, fine. I'll look at the first hat. Hand the hell out of there by O'Brien. Al. Get a hold of O'Brien, our lawyer, the head of the legal department, and tell him to meet me at the theater ASAP. Don't let me down. Aunties, come here. Come here. Come here. I have to go. I can't get out. Before I go, will you please promise me something?
We have to know what it was first.
I love you so much. So much. And I know you love me. I'd do anything in the world for you. And I know you'd do anything in the world for me. So would you please, this one itty bitty tiny thing for me?
Well, what do you want us to do?
Don't do anything. Don't do anything. Don't invite anybody in the house. And leave Mr. Hodgkins right where he is.
Why?
Because I have a lot to think about and quite a lot of time to do. I wouldn't want anything bad to happen to you.
Oh, well, what on earth could happen to us?
Anyways, you do this one itty bitty thing for me, please?
Well, we were planning on holding services before dinner.
Services!
Certainly, you don't think we'd bury Mr. Hoskins without a full Methodist service, do you? Why, he was a Methodist.
Okay, can't wait until after I get back?
Oh, well, then you could join us.
Yes!
Oh, Mortimer, you'll enjoy the services, especially the hymn. Oh, remember, Martha, how beautifully Mortimer used to sing in the choir before his voice changed?
Before I go, would you please promise me not to let anybody else in this house while I'm gone?
Well,
Oh, Martha, Mortimer is cooperating with us. I guess we can do this one thing for him. Well, all right, Mortimer.
Thank you. Have you got any, scrap paper or fine paper? I've got this man to see. Got this man.
Here's some stationery. Will this do?
That'll be fine. I can save time to write my report to the theater. Hi.
Mortimer didn't seem quite himself today.
Oh, well, that's only normal. I think I know why.
Why?
Oh, why he's become engaged to be married. I do suppose that always makes a gentleman a little nervous.
Well, I'm so happy for Elaine and their honeymoon ought to give Mortimer a real vacation. I don't think he got much rest this summer.
Oh, well, at least he didn't go kiting off to China or Spain.
Oh, I could never understand why he wanted to go to those places.
Oh, well, I think to Mortimer, the theater has always seemed like pretty small potatoes, and he needed something big to criticize. Something like the human race.
Oh, Abby! If Mortimer's coming back for the services for Mr. Hoskins, we'll need another hymnal. There's one in my room.
Oh, Martha, you know, it is my turn to hold services, but since you weren't here when Mr. Hoskins came, I want you to do it.
Oh, well, that's very nice of you, dear. But are you sure you want me to?
Well, it's only fair.
Oh, well, I think I'll wear my black bombazine and Mother's old brooch.
Oh, I'll go, dear.
Abby, we promised Mortimer we wouldn't let anyone in.
Well, what do you suppose it is?
Wait a minute, I'll look. Oh, it's two men, and I've never seen them before.
Are you sure?
Oh, there's a car at the curb. They must have come in that.
Oh, let me look.
Oh, do you recognize them?
Oh, they're strangers to me.
Well, we'll just have to pretend we're not at home.
Come in, Doctor. This is the home of my youth. As a boy, I couldn't wait to escape from this place. Now I'm glad to escape back into it.
Yeah, Johnny, it's a fine hideout.
The family must still live here. There's something so unmistakably Brewster about the Brewsters. I hope there's a fatted calf awaiting the return of the prodigal.
Yeah, I'm hungry. Look, Johnny, drinks.
As though we were expected. A good omen.
Who are you? What are you doing here?
Why, Aunt Abby! Aunt Martha! It's Jonathan.
You get out of here!
I'm Jonathan, your nephew,
Oh,
Jonathan.
You're not Jonathan. You're nothing like him, so don't pretend you are.
But I am Jonathan. And this is Dr. Einstein.
Oh, and he's not Dr. Einstein either.
Not Dr. Albert Einstein, Dr. Herman Einstein.
Who are you? You're not our nephew, Jonathan.
I see you're still wearing the lovely garnet ring Grandma Brewster bought in England. And you, Aunt Martha, still the high collar, tied the scar from your grandfather's acid burned you.
Oh, his voice is like Jonathan's.
Have you been in an accident?
No! My face? Dr. Einstein is responsible for that. He's a plastic surgeon. He changes people's faces.
But I've seen that face before. Abby, remember when we took that little Schultz boy to the movies and I was so frightened? It was that face.
Easy, Johnny. Don't worry, ladies. The last 5 years, I give Johnny 3 new faces. I give him another one right away. This last face, well, I saw that picture too, right before I operate, and I was intoxicated.
You see, Doctor? You see what you've done to me? Even my own family does.
Johnny, you're home in this lovely house. So often he tells me about Brooklyn, about this house, about his aunts that he loves so much. Johnny, they know it's you. Do you know it's Jonathan? Speak to him.
Well,
Tell him so.
Jonathan, it's been a long time, and you haven't been home in years.
Yes, Jonathan, where have you been?
Oh, England, South Africa,
Australia, the last 5 years, Chicago. Dr. Einstein and I were in business there together.
Oh, we were in Chicago for the World's Fair.
Yes, we found Chicago awfully warm.
Yeah, it got hot for us too.
Well, it's wonderful to be in Brooklyn again. And you, Abby, Martha, you don't look a day older, just as I remembered you. Sweet, charming, hospitable. And dear Teddy, did he ever get into politics? My little brother, Doctor, was determined to become president.
Oh, Teddy's fine, just fine, and Mortimer's well, too.
Oh, I know about Mortimer. I've seen his picture at the head of his column. He's evidently fulfilled all the promises of his early nasty nature.
Oh, we're very fond of Mortimer.
Well, Jonathan, it's very nice to have seen you again.
Bless you, Aunt Martha. It's good to be home again.
Oh, well, Martha, we mustn't let what's on the stove boil over.
Yes, if you'll excuse us for a minute, Jonathan, unless you're in a hurry to go somewhere.
Well, Johnny, where do we go from here? We got to think fast. The police have got pictures of that face. I got to operate on you right away. We got to find a place for that. And we got to find a place for Mr. Spinoza, too.
Don't waste any worry on that rat.
But Johnny, we got a hot stiff on our hands.
Forget Mr. Spinozzo.
But you can't leave a dead body in the rumble seat. You shouldn't have killed him, Johnny. He's a nice fella. He gives us a lift. What happened?
He said I looked like Boris Karloff. That's your work, Doctor. You did that to me.
Johnny, we find a place somewhere. I fix you up quick.
Tonight.
I got to eat first. I'm hungry. I'm weak. Oh.
Jonathan, we're glad that you remembered us and took the trouble to come in and say hello, but you were never happy in this house, and we were never happy while you were in it. So we just come in to say goodbye.
Aunt Abby, I can't say that your feeling toward me comes as a surprise. I spent a great many hours regretting the many heartaches I must have given you as a boy.
You were quite a trial to us, Jonathan.
But my great disappointment is for Dr. Einstein. See, I promised him no matter how rushed we were in passing through Brooklyn, I'd take the time to bring him here for one of Aunt Martha's home-cooked dinners.
Oh,
I'm sorry, I'm afraid there wouldn't be enough.
Abby, it's a pretty good-sized pot roast.
Pot roast.
I think the least we could do is to...
Thank you, Aunt Martha. We'll stay to dinner.
Well, we'll get things started.
Yes.
Oh, Jonathan, if you would like to wash up, you can use the restroom in Grandfather's old laboratory.
Is that still there?
Oh, yes, just as he left it. Well, I know you two want to get to where you're going, so I'll go help Martha in the kitchen.
Well, we get a meal anyway.
Grandfather's laboratory. And just as it was. Doctor, a perfect operating room.
Too bad we can't use it.
After you finish with me, we can make a fortune here. The laboratory, that large ward in the attic, 10 beds, Doctor. And Brooklyn is crying for your talents.
Why work yourself up, Johnny? Anyway, for Brooklyn, I think we're a year too late.
You don't know this town, Doctor. Practically everybody in Brooklyn needs a new face.
But so many of the old faces are locked up.
A very small percentage. And the boys in Brooklyn are famous for paying generously to stay out of jail.
Take it easy, Johnny. Your aunts, they don't want us here.
We're here for dinner, aren't we?
Yeah, but after dinner?
Leave it to me, Doctor. I'll handle it. Why, this house will be our headquarters for years.
That would be beautiful, Johnny. This nice, quiet house. Those aunts of yours, what sweet ladies. I love them already. I get the bag here.
Doctor! We must wait until we're invited.
But you just said that.
We'll be invited.
And if they say no?
Doctor, to helpless old women.
It's like comes to a beautiful dream. Only I hope you're not dreaming. It's so peaceful.
That's what makes this house so perfect for us. It's so peaceful. Yes, Auntie. Those 5 years at Chicago were amongst the busiest and happiest of my life.
And from Chicago, we go to South Bend, Indiana.
They wouldn't be interested in our experience in Indiana.
Well, Jonathan, you've led a very interesting life, I'm sure, but we really shouldn't have allowed you to talk so late.
My meeting, Dr. Einstein in London, I must say, changed the whole course of my life. You remember I had been in South Africa, in the diamond business, then Amsterdam, the diamond market. I wanted to go back to South Africa, and Dr. Einstein made it possible for me.
Good job, Johnny. If we take off the bandages, his face looks so different. The nurse had to reintroduce me.
I love that face. I still carry the picture with me.
Oh, this looks a lot like you used to, but still, I wouldn't know you.
I think we'll go back to that face, Doctor.
Yeah, it's safe now.
Oh, well, I know you two want to get to where you're going.
Oh, my dear aunts, I'm so full of that delicious dinner, I'm unable to move a muscle.
Yeah, it's nice here.
After all, it's very late and...
I found it! I found it!
What did you find, Teddy?
The story of my life, my biography. Here's the picture I was telling you about, General. Here we are. President Roosevelt and General Goethals at Cobra Cut. That's me, General, and that's you.
My, how I've changed.
Well, this picture hasn't been taken yet. We haven't even started work on Cobra Cut. We're still digging locks. And now, General, we go to Panama to inspect the new lock.
Oh, no, Teddy, not to Panama.
We go some other time. Panama's a long way off.
Nonsense! It's just down in the south.
The cellar?
We let him dig the Panama Canal in the cellar.
General Goethals, as President of the United States, Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Navy, and the man who gave you this job, I demand that you accompany me on an inspection of the new lock.
Teddy, I think it's time you went to bed.
I beg your pardon? Who are you?
I'm Woodrow Wilson. Go to bed.
No, you're not Wilson. But your face is familiar. Let me see. You're not anyone I know. Maybe later. Yes! You look like a man I would meet in the jungle.
Oh, it's your brother, Jonathan, dear.
He's had his face changed.
So that's it! A nature faker!
Oh, and perhaps you had better go to bed. Jonathan and his friend need to get back to their hotel.
General Goethals, inspect the canal.
All right, Mr. President. We go to Panama.
Bully! That's Bully! Right this way. Follow me. It's down south, you know.
Bon voyage.
Aunt Abby, I must correct your misapprehension. You spoke of our hotel? We have no hotel. We came directly here.
Well, there's a very nice little hotel just 3 blocks down the...
Aunt Martha, this is my home.
Oh, no, Jonathan, you can't stay here. We need our rooms.
You need them?
Yes, for our lodgers.
Are there lodgers in this house?
Well, not just now, but we plan to have some.
Then my old room is still free.
Oh, but Jonathan, there's no room for Dr. Einstein.
You'll share the room with me.
No, Jonathan, you can't stay here.
Dr. Einstein and I need a place to sleep. You remember this afternoon that as a boy I could be disagreeable. It wouldn't be very pleasant for any of us if...
Perhaps we'd better let them stay here tonight.
Oh, well, just for tonight, Jonathan.
That's settled. Now, if you'll get my room ready...
It only needs airing out.
Oh, we keep it ready to show our lodgers. I think you and Dr. Einstein will find it comfortable.
You have a most distinguished guest in Dr. Einstein. I'm afraid you don't appreciate his skill, but you will. In a few weeks, you'll see me looking like a very different Jonathan.
Oh, he can't operate on you here.
When we get organized, when we resume practice. Oh, I forgot to tell you. We're turning Grandfather's laboratory into an operating room. We expect to be quite busy.
No, Jonathan, we'll not let you turn this house into a hospital.
A hospital? Heavens no. It will be a beauty parlor.
Hey, Johnny, down at the cellar?
Dr. Einstein, my dear aunts have invited us to live with them.
Oh, you fixed it.
Oh, well, you're sleeping here tonight.
Please get our room ready immediately.
Well, for tonight.
Johnny, when I go down in the cellar, what do you think I find?
What?
The Panama Canal.
The Panama Canal.
It just fits Mr. Spinoso. It's a whole teddy dog, 6 feet long and 4 feet wide.
Down there.
Do you think they knew we were bringing Mr. Spinoso in? That's hospitality.
Rather a good joke on my aunts. They're living in a house with a dead body buried in the cellar.
How do we get him in?
Yes. Can't just walk in the door. We'll drive the car up between the house and the cemetery. Then, when they go back to bed, we'll bring Mr. Spinozzo in through the window.
Bed. Just think. We got to bed tonight.
Easy, doctor. Remember, you're operating tomorrow. And if you're not sober this time,
I fix you up beautiful.
and if you don't,
Jonathan, your room is ready.
then you can go to bed. We're moving the car up behind the house.
Oh, it's all right where it is. Until morning.
I don't want to leave it in the street. That might be against the law.
Oh, Abby, what are we going to do?
Oh, well, we're not going to let them stay in this house, that's for one thing. Why, what would the neighbors think? People coming in with one face and going out with another?
What are we going to do about Mr. Hoskins?
Oh, yes, Mr. Hoskins. It can't be very comfortable for him in there. Oh, he's been so patient. Poor dear. Well, I think Teddy had better get him downstairs right away.
Where is Teddy?
Teddy?
Teddy dear. Oh,
General Guffles was very pleased. He says the canal is just the right size.
Teddy, there's been another yellow fever victim.
Dear me! This will be a shock to the General.
Oh, we mustn't tell him, Teddy.
yes, then we mustn't tell him about it.
But it's his department.
No, Teddy, we mustn't tell him. It would just spoil his visit.
I'm sorry, Aunt Abby. It's out of my hands. Army regulations. You know.
No, we must keep it a secret.
Yes.
A state secret.
Oh, yes, a state secret.
Promise.
You have my word as president. Cross my heart and hope to die. Now, how do we keep it a secret?
Oh, well, you go back downstairs, and when I turn out the lights, when it's all dark, you come back up and take the poor man down to the cellar.
And we'll come down later and hold services.
You may announce the president will say a few words. Oh, where is the poor devil?
He's in the window seat.
Dear me, seems to be spreading. We've never had yellow fever there before.
Oh, Martha, when Jonathan and Dr. Einstein come back, let's see if we can get them to go to bed as soon as possible.
Oh, Abby, I will not invite Jonathan to the funeral services.
Oh, no.
Yes.
We'll wait until they've gone to bed and then come down to hold the services.
Yes. Then by the time we're asleep, we'll be dressed for the funeral. Oh, Abby, I've never even seen Mr. Hoskins.
Oh, goodness, that's right. You were out. Well, you just come right over and see him now. He is really very nice looking considering he's a Methodist.
We're bringing the luggage through here.
Oh, Jonathan, your room's waiting for you. You can go right up.
I'm afraid you don't keep Brooklyn hours. You two run along to bed.
Oh, well, you must be tired, both of you, and we don't go to bed this early.
Well, you should. It's time I came home to take care of you.
We weren't planning to go until...
Aunt Martha, did you hear me say go to bed? The instruments can go to the laboratory in the morning. Now then, we're all going to bed.
Oh, I'll wait until you're up, then turn out the lights.
Another flight, Doctor. Run along, Aunt Martha. Aunt Abby.
Oh, I'll be right up.
Now, Aunt Abby, turn out the lights.
All right, Johnny.
I'll get the window open. You go around and hand him through.
No, he's too heavy for me. You go outside and push, I stay here and pull. Then together we get him down to Panama.
All right. I'll go take a look around outside. When I tap on the glass, you open the window.
Okay. You left this open! Don't go! Johnny? Okay, I'll let you. Wait, you lost a leg somewhere. Oh, I got him. Oh! That was me, Johnny. I slipped.
Be more careful.
Well, his jaw came off. All right, I got him. Johnny, somebody at the door. No, I'm at it here. You go quick.
Miss Abby, Miss Martha. Miss Abby, Miss Martha. Miss... who is it? Is that you, Teddy? Who are you?
Who are you?
I'm Elaine Harper. I live next door.
Then what are you doing here?
I've just come over to see Miss Abby and Miss Martha.
Doctor, turn on the lights. You chose rather an untimely moment for a social call.
I think you better explain what you're doing here.
We happen to live here.
You don't live here. I'm in this house every day and I've never seen you here before. Where are Miss Abby and Miss Martha? What have you done to them?
Perhaps we better introduce ourselves. This is Dr. Einstein,
Dr. Einstein.
a surgeon of great distinction and somewhat of a magician.
And I suppose you're going to tell me you're Boris Karloff?
I'm Jonathan Brewster!
Oh, you're Jonathan.
I see you've heard of me.
Yes, just this afternoon for the first time.
And what did they say about me?
Just that there was another brother named Jonathan, that's all. Well, that explains everything. Now that I know who you are, I'll be running along home now. If you'll kindly unlock the door.
That explains everything? Just what did you mean by that? Why did you come here this time of night?
I thought I saw someone prowling around the house. I suppose it was you.
You thought you saw someone prowling around the house?
Yes.
What else did you see?
Just someone prowling around the house to the car.
What else did you see?
Just that was all. That's why I was on my way over here. You see, I was going to tell Miss Abby to call the police, but if that was you and that was your car, I don't need to bother Miss Abby. I'll be running along home now.
What was the man doing at the car?
I don't know. You see, I was on my way over here.
I think you're lying.
I think she tells the truth. We let her go now, eh?
I think she's lying. breaking into a house this time of night. I think she's dangerous. She shouldn't be allowed around loose.
Take your hands off of me!
Doctor!
It will be a private funeral.
Teddy, tell these men who I am.
That's my daughter, Alice.
No, Teddy. Doctor, your handkerchief.
John!
To the cellar.
Oh, what's the matter?
What's happening down there?
What's the matter? What are you doing?
We caught a burglar, a sneak thief.
Oh, will
Go
we
back
call
to-
the police?
Yes.
We have called the police. We'll handle it. Go back to your room. Do you hear me?
What's the matter, Heath?
Mortimer, where have you been?
Gosh, I've been to the Norway Theater and I should have known better. My God, I'm still here.
Oh, this is your brother, Jonathan, and this is his friend, Dr. Einstein.
I know this isn't a nightmare, but what is it?
I've come back home, Mortimer.
Who did you say this was?
Oh, it's your brother, Jonathan. He's had his face changed. Dr. Einstein performed the operation.
Jonathan! Jonathan, you're always a whore, but do you have to look like one?
Easy, Johnny. Easy. Mortimer, have you forgotten the things I used to do to you when we were boys? Remember the time you were tied to the bedpost, the needles under your fingernails?
Yes, I remember. My God, it is Jonathan. You were the most detestable, vicious, venomous worm animal life I ever knew.
Now, don't you two boys start quarreling again the minute you've seen each
There
other.
won't be any fight, Aunt Abby, because Jonathan, you're not wanted here. Get out.
Dr. Einstein and I have been invited to stay.
Not in this house.
Just overnight.
I don't want him anywhere near me.
Well, Mortimer, we did invite them to stay, and it wouldn't be very nice to
Oh,
have...
fine. Tonight. But first thing in the morning, out. Where are they sleeping?
Oh, they're sleeping in Jonathan's old room.
That's my old room. I'm sleeping in that room. I'm here to stay.
Oh, Mortimer, I'm so glad.
Johnny, you sleep down here tonight.
You bet your life you're sleeping down here.
You sleep on this sofa, and I sleep on the window seat.
The window seat! Oh, the window seat's good enough for me. I'll sleep on the window seat for tonight.
No, Johnny, all of this argument makes me think of Mr. Spinozzo. Spinozzo! Well, now, Mortimer, it really isn't necessary to inconvenience you like this. We'll sleep down here.
Jonathan, your sudden consideration for me is unconvincing.
Come on, Johnny, we get our things out of the room.
Don't bother, Doctor!
By the way, Doctor, I seem to have completely lost track of Mr. Spinozzo.
Okay, who is this Mr. Spinozza?
Just a friend of ours Johnny's been looking for.
Well, don't invite anybody else into this house.
It's all right, Johnny. I'll be back. I tell you all about it.
Oh, Mortimer, you know you don't have to sleep down here. I can go in with Martha, and you can take my room.
No trouble at all, Aunt Abby. We'll be back in a few minutes. Then you can have the room, Mortimer.
You're wasting your time! I told you I was sleeping down here!
Mortimer!
Elaine, what's the matter with you, dear?
I've almost been killed!
You've almost been... Oh, Daddy, Martha!
No, it was Jonathan.
He mistook her for a sneak thief.
No, it was more than that. He's some kind of maniac, Mortimer. I'm afraid of him.
God, you're shaking. Do you have any smelling salts?
No, but do you think some hot tea or coffee?
Coffee! Make some for me, too. And some sandwiches. What? I haven't had any dinner.
We'll make something for both of you.
Oh, well, Martha, we can leave our hats downstairs here now.
Were you going anywhere? Do you know what time it is? It's almost after 12! Elaine, you've got to go home!
Oh, why, you wanted some sandwiches for you both. I won't be a minute.
Oh.
Why, don't you remember? We wanted to celebrate your engagement. That's what we'll do, dear. We'll make a nice supper for both of you.
All right.
And we'll open a bottle of wine.
All right. No wine! Hey, Martha, no wine!
Mortimer, what is going on in this house?
What do you mean, what's going on in this house?
You were supposed to take me to the dinner and theater tonight. You called it off. You asked me to marry you. I said I would. And 5 minutes later, you threw me out of the house. Tonight, just after your brother tries to strangle me, you want to chase me home. Now listen, Mr. Brewster. Before I go home, I want to know where I stand. Do you love me?
Of course I love you, Elaine. I love you so much, I can't marry you.
Have you suddenly gone crazy?
I don't think so, but it's just a matter of time. You see, insanity runs in my family. Practically gallops. That's why I can't marry you.
Now wait a minute, darling. You've got to do better than
No,
that.
dear. If you really knew my family, well, there's a strange taint. It's like Stringbird if he had written the health department.
Now, just because Teddy is a little...
No, not just Teddy. It goes way back to the first Brewster, the one on the Mayflower. You know, back then, the Native Americans used to sculpt the settlers. Well, he used to sculpt the Native Americans.
Mortimer, that's ancient history.
No, the whole family. My grandfather, for instance, he tried his patent medicine on dead people to make sure he wouldn't kill them.
He wasn't so crazy. He made $1 million.
And then there's Jonathan. You just said he was a maniac. He tried to kill you.
But he's your brother, not you. I'm in love with you.
And then there's Teddy. He wants to be, well, he thinks he's President Roosevelt. No, dear, no Brewster should marry. And if I had time enough to tell my grandfather that and my father that, I would.
Now, wait a minute, darling. All this doesn't explain why you're crazy. Take your aunts, for example. They're Brewsters, aren't they? And they're the sanest, sweetest people I've ever known.
Well, even they have their peculiarities.
Yes, but what lovely peculiarities. Kindness, generosity, human sympathy. Oh, Mortimer, there are plenty of others. There's not a thing you can't tell me about.
I'm not gonna! Elaine, you've got to go home. Something very important just came up.
Up from where? We're alone here together.
I know I'm acting irrationally, but just put it down to the fact that I'm a mad Brewster.
Listen, if you think you're going to get out of this by pretending you're insane, you're crazy. Maybe you're not going to marry me, but I'm going to marry you. I love you, you don't.
If you love me, will you get the hell out of here?
Well, at least walk me home, won't you? I'm afraid.
We're gonna walk down the cemetery, really?
Mortimer, will you kiss me goodnight?
Of course, dear. Good night, Elaine. I'll see you tomorrow.
You critic!
What? Elaine! I didn't do anything wrong! Elaine! Oh! Oh, Daphne! I want the in here! No! Right now!
Yes, dear, what is it? Oh,
I
there's
thought-
Elaine.
She left. I thought I told you not to let anybody else in this house while I was gone.
Oh, well, Jonathan just came in.
I don't mean Jonathan.
And Dr. Einstein.
And I don't
was-
mean Dr. Einstein. Who sat in the window seat?
Oh, we told you, Mr. Hoskins.
That is not Mr. Hoskins.
Oh, well, who could that be?
Are you telling me you've never seen this man before?
Oh, I sure am. Why, this is a fine house you do. It's getting so anybody thinks he can walk into this house.
Aunt Abby, don't try to get out of this. I know that's another one of your gentlemen.
Mortimer, how can you say such a thing? Why, that man is an imposter. And if he thinks he came here to bury in our cellar, he's mistaken.
Aunt Abby, you admitted to me that you put Mr. Hodgkins in the window seat.
Yes, I did.
Well, this man could have just waltzed in here and got the idea from Mr. Hodgkins. By the way, where is Mr. Hodgkins?
Oh, he must have gone to Panama.
Oh, you buried him.
Oh, no, not yet. He's just downstairs waiting for services. What? We haven't had a minute, what with Jonathan in the house and everything. Oh, dear, we've always wanted to hold a double funeral, but I will not breathe services over a total stranger.
A stranger? Aunt Abby, you admitted to me that you poisoned and dug up 12 men in your cellar.
Yes, I did. But you don't think I'd stoop to telling a fib.
A fib?
Martha!
Aunt Abby, don't get in here. Aunt Abby!
Oh, Mortimer, I'd like to have a word with you.
A word's about all you'll have time for, Jonathan, because I've decided you and your little doctor friend are going to have to get out of this house as quickly as humanly possible.
I'm glad you recognize the fact that you and I can't live under the same roof, but you've arrived at the wrong solution. Take your suitcase and get out.
Jonathan, you're beginning to bore me. You played the little one-night stand in Brooklyn. Now move on.
My dear Mortimer, just because you graduated from the back bench to the typewriter, don't think you've grown up. I'm staying, and you're leaving, and I mean now.
If you think there's anything I fear, anything that frightens me.
I've lived a strange life, Mortimer, but it's taught me one thing, to be afraid of nothing.
Oh,
Oh,
what?
I'm-
You can see what's in that window, please.
Oh, Tabby! Jonathan, get up and show us, Martha, what's in that window seat. Oh, Aunt Abby, I'm frightfully sorry. I have good news. Jonathan is leaving. He's taking his little doctor friend, Dr. Einstein, with him, and his cold companion with him, too. No, Jonathan, you're my brother. You're a Brewster. I'm gonna give you the chance to get away and take the evidence with you. You can ask for more than that. Very well. I guess I'll have to call the police.
Don't reach for that telephone. Are you still giving me orders after seeing what's happened to Mr. Spinalzo?
Spinalzo?
Oh, I knew he was a foreigner.
Remember, what happened to Mr. Spinalzo can happen to you, too.
Oh, Officer O'Hara, what can I do for you?
I saw you're late and there might be a sickness in the house. Oh, you've got company. I'm sorry, I just...
No, come right in.
Oh, yes, do come in.
Come right in, Officer O'Hara. This is our nephew, Mortimer.
Pleased to meet you.
Oh, and this is our nephew, Jonathan.
Pleased to make your acquaintance. Well, it must be nice having your nephew visiting you. Are they going to stay with you
Oh,
for a
I'm
bit?
staying. Jonathan is just leaving.
I've met you here before, haven't I?
Oh, I'm afraid not. Jonathan hasn't been home in years.
Your face looks familiar to me. Maybe I've seen a picture of you somewhere. I don't think so.
Oh, yeah, Jonathan. I'd hurry if I were you. You have everything back anyways. Bye, Jonathan.
Well, if you wanted to say your goodbyes, I'll be running along.
No! I'd like to have him stick around until my brother goes.
Oh, I just dropped in to make sure everything was all right.
Tea?
Oh, yes, I forgot the tea
Then
thing.
I better make some more sandwiches. I ought to know your appetite by this time, Officer O'Hara.
Oh, don't bother. I'm due to ring in a few minutes.
Stick around for a cup of coffee, right? My brother's just leaving.
Say, ain't I seen a photograph of your brother around here someplace?
I don't think so.
Certainly reminds me of somebody.
Probably something you've seen in the movies, right?
Oh, I never go to the movies. I hate him. My mother says movies is a bastard art.
Yeah, full of them. Your mother said that?
Yeah. My mother was an actress, a stage actress. Perhaps you've heard of her. Peaches Latour.
Sounds like a name I've probably heard on the program. What'd she play?
Well, her big hit was Mutt and Jeff. Played it for 3 years. I was born on tour, the 3rd season.
You were?
Yep, Sioux City, Iowa. I was born at the end of the 2nd act. Her mother made the finale.
Oh, what a trooper! You know, there's a good story in your mother. I write about the theater.
You do? Say, you're not Mortimer Brewster, a dramatic critic.
I am.
Well, I am certainly glad to meet you. Say, Mr. Brewster, we're in the same line of business.
Oh, we are.
Yeah, I'm a playwright. Oh, this being on the police force is just temporary.
Oh, it is? I bet so, honey.
well,
How long have you been on the force?
Oh, well, 12 years. I'm collecting material for a play.
I bet it's a honey.
Oh, well, it ought to be. With all the drama I see being a cop, Mr. Brewster, you got no idea what goes on in Brooklyn.
I think I have.
Say, what time you got?
10 after 1.
Gee, I gotta ring in.
No! Wait! I'd like to have you stick around and help you with your play.
You would?
Uh-huh.
Say, you with my feet walking in here tonight. Look, I'll tell you the plot.
Sit down. Sit down. Oh, you're leaving, huh? Good, because you haven't got much time, you know?
Oh, well, everything's just about ready. Oh, why are you leaving now, Jonathan? Oh, goodbye. Oh, goodbye, Dr. Einstein. Oh, doesn't this case belong to you?
Yes. Yes. You can't leave without all of your things. Well, O'Hara, it was nice meeting you. We'll talk about your play sometime after.
Oh, I'm not leaving now, Mr. Brewster.
That's why.
Well, you just offered to help me with my play, didn't you? You and me are gonna write my play together.
I can't do that, O'Hara. I'm not a creative writer.
Oh, I'll do the creating. You just put your words to it.
But O'Hara, come on.
Oh, I'm not leaving till I tell you the plot. In that case, Mortimer will be running along.
Don't try that. You can't leave without all your things. Ah! Get up. You have to go ring in.
Oh, I can wait. I've been waiting 12 years.
I'm sorry I was so long.
Don't bring her in here. O'Hara, join us right in the kitchen.
The kitchen.
Oh, Jonathan's leaving.
Oh, well, that's nice. Come along, Officer O'Hara.
Oh, sure, you don't mind eating in the kitchen, Mr. O'Hara.
And where else would you eat?
Oh, well, goodbye, Jonathan. Good to have seen you again.
I'll see you in the kitchen. I'm glad you came back to Brooklyn because it gives me another chance to kick you right out. And the first one out is your little boyfriend, Mr. Spinozzo.
Mr.
I'll be right in.
I might have known you'd grow up to write a play with a policeman.
Get out, all three of you. I'll be. Yeah, tell me the story. I bet it's already.
Doctor, this affair between my brother and me has got to be settled.
Johnny, your brother gives us a chance to get away. What more could you ask?
You don't understand. This goes back a good many years.
Ah, Johnny, let's get going.
No, we're not going. We're staying right here tonight.
With the cop in the kitchen and Mr. Spinozzo in the window seats?
That's all he's got on us. We'll take Mr. Spinozzo down and dump him in the bay and come right back here. Then, if he tries to interfere...
Oh, Johnny.
Doctor, you know when I make up my mind...
John, when you make up your mind, you lose your head. Brooklyn ain't a good place for you.
Doctor.
Okay, we got to stick together. Someday we get stuck together. We're coming back here. Do we got to take these with us?
No, leave them here. Hide them in the cellar. Move fast. Mr. Spinozzo can go out the same way he came in.
Hey, Johnny, come quick!
What's the matter?
Do you know that hole in the cellar?
Yes?
We got an ace in the hole.
Come on, I show you.
Rebecca, I'm coming. Coming. Jonathan? Jonathan! 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 Oh, God.
Yes, Mortimer?
I thought I told you to leave. All three of you. What are you still doing here?
We're not going.
You think I'm not serious? You think I will get Mr. Officer O'Hara in here? You know, I'm gonna get you.
We're staying here.
Oh, you are? You think I'm not serious? All right, I'll get Mr. O'Hara in here and get rid of both of you at the same time.
If you tell O'Hara what's in the window seat, I'll tell him what's down in the cellar.
The cellar?
There's an elderly gentleman down there who seems to be very dead.
What were you guys doing in the cellar?
What's he doing in the cellar?
They're doing in the cellar.
Now, what are you gonna say to O'Hara?
Say, Mr. Brewster, you know I want to hear too shy.
No! You got to go ring in. You got to go ring in.
Oh, the hell with bringing in.
I got turned into your story of the plot.
No! Not in front of all these people. You gotta do someplace private.
How about the back room, McKelly's?
Fine, fine. But you have to go ring in first, okay?
Why don't you two go down to the cellar? That's all right with me. Isn't this the cellar door?
No! We'll go to Kelly's. You go ring in first. Go.
All right, that'll only take a couple minutes.
Go. I'll teach him in 5 minutes. Elmo, be right back. Wait for me.
We'll wait for him, Doctor. I've waited 12 years for a chance like this.
We got him right where we want him. Did he look guilty?
Take the bags back up to our room, Doctor.
Oh, have they gone yet? Oh, we thought we'd heard somebody leave.
Just Mortimer, and he'll be back in a few minutes. Is there any food left in the kitchen? I think Dr. Einstein and I would enjoy a bite.
But you won't have time.
No, if you're still here when Mortimer gets back, he won't like it.
He'll like it. He's gotta like it.
Get something for us to eat while we bury Mr. Spinozzo in the cellar.
Oh, no! No, Jonathan. You can't stay here. You've got to take Mr. Spinozzo with you.
There's a friend of Mortimer's downstairs waiting for him.
A friend of Mortimer's?
They'll get along fine together. They're both dead.
Oh, they must mean Mr. Hoskins.
Mr. Hoskins?
You know about what's downstairs?
Oh, of course we do, and he's no friend of Mortimer's. Why, he's one of our gentlemen.
Your gentleman?
And we won't have any strangers buried in our cellar.
But Mr. Hoskins...
Mr. Hoskins isn't a stranger.
Oh, besides, there's no room for Mr. Spinozzo. The cellar's crowded already.
Crowded? With what?
Oh, there are 12 graves down there now.
12 graves.
Oh, that leaves very little room, and we're going to need it.
You mean you and Aunt Martha have murdered...
Murdered? Certainly not. Why, it's one of our charities.
Why, what we've been doing is a mercy.
You've done that here in this house and buried them down
get chased all around the world. The old ladies stay right here in Brooklyn and do just as good as you do.
What?
You got 12, and they got 12.
I've got 13.
No, Johnny, 12.
13! There's Mr. Spinozzo, then the first one in London, 2 in Johannesburg, 1 in Sydney, 1 in Melbourne, 2 in San Francisco, 1 in Phoenix, Arizona.
Phoenix?
The filling station. The 3 in Chicago and the 1 in South Bend. That makes 13.
But you can't count the one in South Bend. He died of pneumonia.
He wouldn't have got pneumonia if I hadn't shot him.
No, Johnny. He died of pneumonia. He don't count.
Well, it counts with me. I say 13.
No, Johnny. You got 12, and they got 12. The old ladies are just as good as you.
Oh, they are they? Well, that's easily taken care of. All I need is 1 more. That's all. Just 1 more.
Well, here I am. I've got his signatures on Teddy's commitment papers.
Oh, Mortimer, what is the matter with you?
Running around getting papers signed at a time like this?
Do you know what Jonathan is doing?
Oh, he's burying Mr. Spinozzo and Mr. Hoskins in together.
He is he? Well, that's him. Is Teddy in his room?
Teddy won't be any help.
When he signs these commitment papers, I can handle Jonathan.
Oh, well, what have they got to do with it?
You had to go and tell Jonathan about those 12 bodies in the cellar. If I can make Teddy responsible for those, I can protect you. Can't you see?
No, I don't see. We pay our taxes so the police can protect us.
I'll be back down in a minute.
Come along, Martha. We're going for the police.
All right. The police! You can't go to the police!
Why can't we?
Because if you go to the police and tell them about Mr. Spinozzo, they find Mr. Hotchkiss too. And then they get curious and find about your other 12 gentlemen.
Oh, Mortimer, we know the police better than you do. I don't think they'd pry into our private affairs if we asked them not to.
And if they find your 12 bodies, they'd have to report that to the headquarters.
Oh, I'm not so sure they'd bother. They'd have to make out a very long report, and if there's one thing a policeman hates to do, it's to write.
Oh, you can't depend on that. What if it leaks? You can't expect a judge and a jury to understand.
Oh, Judge Coleman would.
Oh, we're very fond of him.
He always comes to church to pray, just before election.
And he's coming over to tea one day. He's promised.
Oh, Abby, we must speak to him again about that. His wife died a few years ago, and it's left him very lonely.
Oh, well, come along, Martha.
No! You can't do things like that! And I'm not gonna let you! You can't leave this house, and you can't invite Dr. Judgment or Coleman or whatever their name is to tea.
Oh, well, if you're not going to do something about Mr. Spinozzo, we are.
I am. We may have to call the police later on, but if we do, want to be ready for them.
Oh, you've got to get Jonathan out of this house.
And Mr. Spinozzo, too.
Will you please just let me do it my own way? Okay, and get some rest. Please, you look really tired. And for the love of God, get out of those clothes. You look like Judith Anderson.
Oh, well, Abby, that's a relief, isn't it?
Oh, yes, if Mortimer's really going to do something about it, that just means Jonathan's going to a lot of unnecessary trouble. We'd better tell him. Oh, Jonathan, you might as well stop what you're doing.
It's all done. Did I hear Mortimer?
Oh, well, it will just have to be undone. All of you are going to be out of this house by morning. Mortimer's promised.
Oh, we are we? In that case, you and Aunt Martha can go to bed and have a pleasant night's sleep.
Yes, come, Abby.
Good night, aunties.
Oh, not good night, Jonathan. Goodbye. By the time we're up tomorrow, you'll be out of this house. Mortimer's promised.
And he has a way of doing it, too.
Then Mortimer's back?
Oh, yes, he's up here talking to Teddy.
Goodbye, Jonathan.
Goodbye, Jonathan.
Perhaps you better say goodbye to Mortimer.
Oh, you'll see, Mortimer.
Yes, I'll see Mortimer.
Oh, that's all fixed up. Smooth like a lake. Nobody'd ever know they were down there. That bed feels good already. 48 hours we didn't sleep. Let's go up now, yes?
You're forgetting, Doctor.
What?
My brother, Mortimer.
Johnny, tonight? We do that tomorrow or the next day.
No! Tonight! Now!
But Johnny, I'm tired, and tomorrow I got to operate.
Yes, you're operating tomorrow. But tonight, we take care of Mortimer.
But Johnny, we go to bed tonight, eh?
Doctor, look at me. You can see it's going to be done, can't you?
Ah, I can see, I know that look.
It's a little too late for us to dissolve our partnership.
Okay, we do it. But the quick way, the quick twist like in London.
No, Doctor, I think this calls for something special. I think perhaps the Melbourne method.
No, Johnny, not that. 2 hours, and when it was all over what? The fellow in London was just as dead as the fellow in Melbourne.
We had to work too fast in London. There was no aesthetic satisfaction to it. But Melbourne, there was something to remember.
Remember? Oh, I wish I didn't. No, Johnny, not Melbourne, not me.
Yes, Doctor. Where are the instruments?
I won't do it, Johnny, I won't do it.
Get your instruments!
No, Johnny.
Where are they? Oh, yes. You hid them in the cellar. Where?
I won't tell you.
I'll find them, Doctor.
No, Mr. President, you can't do things like that. I cannot sign any proclamation without first consulting my cabinet. Oh, this must be a secret. Shh. A secret proclamation? How unusual.
Yes, Japan mustn't know until it's signed.
Japan? Those bloody devils. Hand it here.
Yes.
I'll sign it right away.
Yes.
You have my word.
Yes, let's go
I
and
can
sign
let
it.
the cabinet know later.
Yes, now let's go and sign it.
No. A secret proclamation has to be signed in secret.
Huh?
You stay here.
But at once, Mr. President, at once!
I'll go put on my silent clothes.
Ah, you go now, eh?
Oh, no, Doctor, I'm waiting for something very important.
Please, you go now.
Look, Doctor, you seem like a very nice fellow, but take this advice. Get out of this house, just get as far away as possible.
Trouble, you get out.
Don't act like I didn't warn you, okay?
I'm warning you, get away, quick.
Things are gonna start popping around here any minute now.
Listen, Johnny's in a bad mood. When he's like this, he's a madman. Things happen, terrible things.
Johnny doesn't worry me.
Ugh, hello. Don't those plays you see teach you anything?
About what?
Well, people in plays act like they got some sense.
Oh, you think so, do you? You think people in play act intelligently? Oh, I wish You've sat through some of the plays I have to sit through. Take the little opus I saw tonight, for example. There's this man. He's supposed to be bright, you know? He's in a house full of murders. He's ought to know he's in danger, right? No, he's even been warned to get out of the house. But does he go? Does he go? Does he go? No, he stays. Now I ask you, Doctor, is that what an intelligent person would do?
Sure.
No, it's not. And he didn't even have enough sense to be frightened, to be on guard. He's even been asked to sit down.
You mean won't you sit down?
That's the exact same line they used in the play I saw tonight. I mean, and guess what he does? What? He sat down! And there he sits. This guy who's supposed to be smart, right? Now, let's get back to it. He's sitting there, waiting to be trussed up, and guess what they use to truss him up with?
What?
The curtain cord! The curtain cord! The curtain cord!
Well, why not? Good idea. Very convenient.
A little too convenient. When a playwright's gonna start using imagination, the curtain cord!
You didn't see him get it?
See him? He sat there with his back to him. Now I ask you, Doctor. This guy, who's supposed to be smart, he's supposed to know what's gonna happen, right? There he sits, waiting to be trussed up and gagged. What are you doing? Let go of me! Oh my God! This is crazy! Get your slimy hands off of me, Jonathan! I told you I'm not into this stuff! Hey! Let go of me! You can't tie me up like this! Let go! Let go of me! I'm gonna scream! I'm gonna scream in 1 and 2!
You're right about that guy. He wasn't very bright.
Now, Mortimer, if you don't mind, we'll finish the story. You see, Mortimer! I have been away for 20 years, but never once in all that time, my dear brother, were you out of my mind. In Melbourne one night, I dreamed of you. When I landed in San Francisco, I felt a strange satisfaction. I was once more in the same country with you. Now, Doctor, we get to work.
Please, Johnny, for me, it's a quick way.
Doctor, this must really be an artistic achievement. After all, we're performing before a very distinguished critic.
Johnny!
Doctor!
Okay, redo it.
All ready for you, Doctor.
I gotta have a drink first. I can't do this without a drink.
Pull yourself together, Doctor!
I gotta have a drink. When we came in here earlier, there was wine there, remember?
In there!
Thank you. That's all there is. I split it with you. We both need a drink.
One moment, Doctor, please! Where are your manners? Yes, Mortimer. I realize now it was you who brought me back to Brooklyn. Now, Doctor, to my dear, dead brother. Damn it, idiot! He goes next. He goes next.
No, Johnny, not Teddy. That's where I stop. Not Teddy.
We get to Teddy later.
We don't get to him at all.
Now we gotta go fast. Come on,
John, the quick way.
get up! Hey, the colonel's got us blowing that horn. It's all right, officer. We're taking the bugle away from him.
There's going to be hell to pay in the morning. They promised neighbors we wouldn't do that anymore.
No, okay. Thanks, my weapon again, officer. Good night.
I better speak to him myself. Where are the lights? Hey, you stood me up. I waited an hour at Kelly's for you. What's happened to him?
He was explaining the play he saw tonight. That's what happened to the fella in the play.
Did they have that in the
play you saw tonight?
Gee, they practically stole that from the second act of my play. The second act of my play just before the... Oh, I better begin at the beginning. It's also my mother's dressing room. Only I ain't born yet. Oh, yeah. No. Did I not hear the plot? There she is, making up. When all of a sudden, a man with a black mustache comes to the door and says, Miss Latour, will you marry me? She doesn't even know she's pregnant. There she is, lying across the table in her lingerie. The guy's standing over her with a hatchet. I'm tied up in a chair just like you are. The place is an inferno of flames. It's on fire! When all of a sudden, through the window, in comes Mayor LaGuardia. Hey, remember who paid for that? Go easy on.
Well, I'm listening, ain't I?
How do you like it so far?
Well, he put Johnny to sleep.
Let him alone. If he ain't got no more just than that, he don't get a drink. Alright, it's 3 days later and I've been transferred and I'm under charges. That's because somebody stole my badge. Alright, I'm walking my beat on Staten Island, 46 Phoenix, when a guy I'm following, it turns out, is really following me. Don't let anybody in. So I figure out the house at the end of the corner, and I goes in.
It's Cops!
Stands there in the dark, the door handle turn.
It's Cops! Johnny, come on!
I pulls my guns, braces myself against the wall, and I says, come in.
What the hell is going on in here?
What do you know? This is Martin Brewster. He's gonna write my play with me. Just telling him the story.
Did you have to tie him up to make him listen?
Joe, you better report it at the station. The whole force is out looking for you.
Did they send you here for me?
We didn't know he was here!
We came to warn the old ladies that there's hell to pay. The colonel blew the bugle again in the middle of the night.
By the way the neighbors have been calling, you would have thought the Germans dropped a bomb on Flatbush Avenue!
The lieutenant is on the workhouse. The colonel's got to be put away somewhere.
Yes!
Gee, Mr. Brewster, I gotta get away, so I'll just run to the third act.
Get away from me! Get away from me!
Say, do you know what time it is? It's after 8 o'clock in the morning!
What?
Gee, Mr. Brewster, them first 2 acts run a little long, but I don't see anything we can leave out.
You can leave it all out! All out!
Who the hell is this guy?
My brother.
Oh, the one that ran away? So he came back.
Yes, he came back.
Hello? This is Brophy. Get me Mac. Joe, I better let them know we found you. Mac, tell Lieutenant we can call up the big man hunt. We got him. In the Brewster house? Do you want us to bring him in? Oh, all right, we'll hold him right here. The lieutenant's on his way over.
So, I've been turned in. Hey. All right, you got me. And I suppose you and the stool pigeon brother of mine will split the reward. Reward? Now I'll do some turning in. You think my aunts are sweet, charming old ladies, don't you? Well, there are 13 bodies buried in their cellar!
The cellar! Daddy! Daddy! Daddy!
What are you talking about?
You better be careful what you're saying about your aunts. They happen to be good friends of ours.
I'll show you! I'll prove it to you! You come to the cellar with me!
Wait a minute!
13 bodies! I'll show you where they're buried!
Oh, yeah?
Why don't you go down in the cellar with him, Abe?
You don't want to see what's down in the cellar?
I'm not so sure. I want to be down in the cellar with him! Look at this puss! He looks like Boris Karloff!
Hey, what do you think you're doing?
Oh, what do you know about that?
Come in. What the hell are you men doing here? I told you I was gonna handle this.
Well, sir, you're just...
What happened? Did he put up a fight?
This ain't the guy that blows the bugle. This is his brother. He tried to kill Klein.
All I said was that he looked like Boris Karloff.
Turn him over!
We kinda think he's wanted somewhere.
Oh, you kinda think he's wanted somewhere. You know, if you guys don't read the circulars we hang up at the stations, you can read True detective? Certainly he's wanted. In Indiana, escaped from the prison for the criminally insane. He's a lifer, for God's sakes. That's how he was described. He looked like Karloff.
Was there a reward mentioned?
Yeah, and I'm blaming him.
He was trying to get us down in the cellar.
Said there was 13 bodies buried down there.
And that didn't tip you off that he came out of a nut house?
I thought all along you talked kind of crazy.
Oh, look! It's Shakespeare! Where have you been all night? And you didn't bother to tell me.
Why, I've been right here, sir, writing a play with Mortimer Brewster.
Yeah? Well, you're gonna have plenty of time to write that play because you're suspended! Now get back and report in!
Can I come over sometime to the station typewriter?
No! Get out of here! Take that guy somewhere else and bring him to. See where you can find out about his accomplice, the one that helped him escape. He's wanted to. No wonder Brooklyn for the shape is in with the police force full of flatheads like you falling for that kind of a story. 13 bodies in the cellar.
But there are 13 bodies in the cellar.
Who are you?
I am President Roosevelt.
The hell is this?
He's the fellow that blows the bugle.
Good morning, Colonel. Well, Colonel, you've blown your last bugle.
Dear me, another yellow fever victim.
What?
Oh, the bodies in the cellar, yellow fever victims.
No, Colonel, this is a spy we caught in the White House.
Will you get that guy out of here?
If there's any questioning of spies, that's my department.
You keep out of this!
You forget, as president, I'm also head of the Secret Service.
Oh, Captain, I'm Mortimer Brewster.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm here to talk to you about my brother, Teddy. You the one who blew the bugle?
Mr. Brewster, we ain't gonna talk about that. He's gotta be put away.
I quite agree with you. In fact, I have everything arranged for. You see, he signed these commitment papers, and so did our family physician, Mr. Gilchrist. This says that he's going to a sanitarium.
Where's he going?
Happydale?
All right, I don't care where he goes as long as he goes.
Oh, he's going, all right. I just wanted to know that everything around here, Teddy's responsible for now. Those 13 bodies in the cellar.
Yeah, those 13 bodies in the cellar. It ain't enough that the neighbors are all afraid of him and him disturbing the peace with that bugle. But can you imagine what would happen if that cockeyed story about 13 bodies in the cellar got around? And now he's starting up a yellow fever scare. Cue!
13 bodies? I mean, who could believe that story?
Well, you just don't know anymore. Some people are just dumb enough. For instance, about a year ago, some guy starts a murder rumor over at Greenpoint, and I have to dig up a half-acre lot just to prove that...
Will you excuse me? Oh, good morning.
Hello, Mortimer.
Good morning, Elaine. Who's this?
This is Mr. Witherspoon. He's come to meet Teddy.
Oh, to meet Teddy.
Mr. Witherspoon is the superintendent of Happydale.
Oh, come right in, Mr. Witherspoon. This is Captain.
Lieutenant Rooney. I'm glad you're here, Super, because you're taking him with you today.
Today? I didn't know that.
Not today.
No, Elaine, something came up. You have to run along home or something about that.
Nuts.
Okay.
I had no idea it was this immediate.
The papers are all signed. He goes today.
Complete insubordination! You memorize and no bullet, Huddle! What's this country come to? But the President of the United States is treated like that!
There's your man, Super.
Oh, just a minute. Mr. President, your term in office is sober.
Is it March the 4th? Practically? Wonderful. Let's see. Now I go on my hunting trip to Africa. I must get started. Is he trying to move in before I move out?
Who, Teddy?
Taft!
That's not Mr. Taft, Teddy. That's a Mr. Witherspoon. He's to be your guide in Africa.
Bully! Just bully! I'll go prepare my equipment at once. When the safari comes, tell them to wait. Goodbye, Aunt Abby. Goodbye, Aunt Mama. I'm going to Africa. Isn't it wonderful? Charge!
Good morning, darlings. Good morning.
Oh, we have visitors.
Huh, this is Lieutenant Rooney.
Oh, how do you do, Lieutenant? My, you don't look like the fuss budget the policemen say you are.
Why, the lieutenant's here because Teddy blew the bugle again last night.
Yes, we're going to speak to Teddy about that.
It's a little more serious than that.
And this is Mr. Witherspoon. He's the superintendent at Happydale.
Oh, how do you do, Mr. Witherspoon?
You come to meet Teddy.
He's come to take him.
Aunties, the police want Teddy to go to Happydale today.
Oh, no!
Not while we're alive.
I'm sorry, Miss Brewster, but it has to be done. The papers are all signed, and he's going along with the superintendent.
Oh, we won't permit it. We'll promise to take the bugle away from him.
We won't be separated from Teddy.
I'm sorry, ladies, but the law is the law. He's committed himself, and he's going.
Well, if he goes, we're going too.
Yes, you'll have to take us with him.
Well, why not? Why not? Why not? Why not, Mr. Ray? Why not?
That's sweet of them to want to, but I'm afraid it's impossible. You see, we can't take sane people at Happydale.
Oh, Mr. Witherspoon, if you'll let us live there with Teddy, we'll see that Happydale is in our will, and for a very generous amount.
Oh, the Lord knows we could use the money, but I'm afraid...
Now, let's be sensible about this, ladies. For instance, here I am, wasting my morning when I've got serious work to do. You know there are still murders to be solved in Brooklyn, right?
Oh, are there?
In Italy, it's bugle blowing, but sooner or later we'll be put to the trouble of digging up your cellar.
Oh, our cellar?
Yeah, your nephew's been telling around that there are 13 bodies buried down there.
Why, there are 13 bodies in our cellar.
Oh, if that's why you think Teddy has to go away, you come down to the cellar with us and we'll prove it to
I
you.
don't think so. Lieutenant was just telling me that he had to dig up half an acre last year. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
Well, you wouldn't have to dig here. The graves are all marked and we put flowers on them every Sunday.
Flowers? Superintendent, don't you think you can find room for these ladies?
Well,
You come just downstairs and we'll show you the graves.
I'll take your word for it, lady. I'm a busy man. How about it, Super?
well, they'd have to be committed.
Well, Teddy committed himself. Can't they commit themselves? Can't they sign the papers?
Why, certainly.
Oh, if we can go with Teddy, we'll sign the papers. Where are they?
Oh, yes, where are they?
Coming around, Lieutenant.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Klein.
Good morning, Mr. Klein. Oh, are you here too?
Yeah, Ruffy and me got your other nephew out of the kitchen.
Well, sign him up, Superintendent. I want this whole mess cleaned up. 13 bodies in the cellar.
If you'd sign right here.
And you want here? Abby, right here?
Oh, I'm really looking to going. The cellar here has changed, so...
Oh, just think, a front lawn again. Oh,
Oh, we're overlooking something.
what?
Well, we're going to need the signature of a doctor.
Dr. Einstein! Oh, he's Doctor! Dr. Einstein, will you just come right over here and sign these papers for us? Come on, come.
I must.
No, come on, Doctor. Just a few papers. At some point last night, I thought Dr. Einstein was going to operate on me. This is serious. Just sign right here.
Oh, were you leaving, Doctor?
I think I must go.
Aren't you going to wait for Jonathan?
I don't think we are going to the same place.
Oh, Elaine, I'm glad you stayed.
Don't worry, I'm going to.
Hello, Mac. Rooney, we've located that guy that's wanted in Indiana. Now, there's a description of his accomplice. It's on my desk. I want you to read it to me. Yeah, he's got brown hair, fair skin, has a brown suit, walks with 2 right feet, uses a German accent, poses as a doctor. Thanks, Mac.
It's all right, Lieutenant. The doctor here has just signed.
Thanks, Doc. You're really doing Brooklyn a service.
Mr. Brewster, you sign now as next of kin.
Oh, yes, right here, right?
That's fine.
Perfect, and this makes everything legal, right?
Yes.
Aunties, you're safe.
When do you think we'll be able to get started?
Aunties?
Oh, well, you just go right upstairs and tell Teddy what he can take along with him.
Upstairs?
Yes, I can show you.
Oh, no, Mortimer, you stay here. We want to talk to you. Yes, Mr. Witherspoon, just upstairs and to your left.
Well, Mortimer, now that we're moving, this house really is yours.
Oh, yes, we want you to live here now.
Oh, no, Aunt Abby, I couldn't. There are too many memories.
But you'll need a home when you and Elaine are married.
That's very indefinite, Aunt Martha.
It's nothing of the kind. We're going to be married right away.
Elaine?
Oh, Mortimer, we're really very worried about something.
Oh, darlings, you're gonna love it at Happydale.
Oh, yes, we're very happy about the whole thing. That's just it. We don't want anything to go wrong.
Oh, will they investigate those signatures?
Oh, they're not gonna investigate Dr. Einstein's, that's for sure.
It's not his signature, dear. It's yours.
Oh, you see, you signed as next of kin.
Oh, of course. Why not?
Well, it's something we never really wanted to tell you, but now you're a man, and it's something Elaine should know too. You see, dear, you're not really a Brewster.
Oh, your mother came to us as a cook, and you were born about 3 months afterwards. She was such a sweet woman and such a good cook, we didn't want to lose her, so brother married her.
I'm not really a Brewster.
Oh, now don't feel too badly about it, dear.
Oh, and Elaine, it won't make a difference to you.
Elaine, did you hear? Do you understand?
I'm a bastard!
Well, now, I really must see about breakfast.
Mortimer's coming to my house. Father's gone to Philadelphia, and Mortimer and I are going to have breakfast together.
Coffee, I need some coffee. I've had quite a night.
Oh, then I should think you'd want to get to bed.
Oh, I do.
One moment, Mr. Witherspoon. Take this and this.
We won't need the wagon. The car's out front.
Oh, you're leaving now, Jonathan.
Yeah, he's going back to Indiana. There's some people there who want to take care of him the rest of his life.
Well, Jonathan, we're glad you have some place to go.
We're leaving too.
Oh, yes, we're going to Happydale.
Then this house is seeing the last of the Brewsters.
Unless Mortimer wants to live here.
I have a suggestion to make. Why don't you turn this property over to the church?
Oh, well, we never thought of that.
After all, it should be a part of the cemetery. All right, get going! I'm a busy man! Goodbye, aunties! Look, I can't put her in my record now, but neither can you! At least I have that satisfaction! The record stands even! 12 to 12! Get your hands off me! I can walk away! 12! You're falling!
Jonathan always was a mean boy. Never could stand to see anyone get ahead of him.
I wish we could show him he wasn't so smart. Oh, well, Mr. Witherspoon, does your family live with you at Happydale?
I have no family.
Oh,
Well, I suppose you consider everyone at Happydale your family.
I'm afraid you don't quite understand. See, as the head of this institution, I have to keep quite aloof.
oh, that must make it very lonely for you.
It does, but my duty is my duty.
Oh, well, Martha, if Mr. Witherspoon won't join us for breakfast, I think we ought to offer him a glass of our elderberry wine.
Elderberry wine?
We make it ourselves.
Why, yes. At Happydale, our relationship will be more formal, but here, you don't see much elderberry wine these days. So I thought I'd have my last glass of it.
Oh, no.
No. Here it is.